guys, let's solve the Bryophytes questions from BHU today. So let's start with the BHU 2014 question paper. Our first question is actually not a question from Bryophytes, instead it's a question from algae actually. Here, a plant in which saprophytic generation is represented only by a zygote. Okay, so here for Pinus is given, which is a gymnosperm, Selaginella a fern, Chlamydomonas an algae, and Rhabteris another fern. Now we know that both uh, gymnosperm and Pteridophyte both have a long and very big saprophytic generation, and the zygote is not the only stage in saprophytic generation. The answer will be Chlamydomonas, which is like unicellular alga, which has only one zygote, which represents the saprophytic generation, and then again it goes back to the gametophytic generation. So answer is number 3. Next question. For bryophytes are amphibians because first of all, what is amphibians? By amphibians we mean that both land and these plants can stay both in land and in the sea, that is terrestrial as well as aquatic. Now the options are: first, they require a layer of water for carrying out sexual reproduction. They occur in damp places. They are mostly aquatic, and all of the above. Now, of course, if they are amphibians, that means they will require a layer of water, but it's a fact that bryophytes actually require water for their sexual reproduction. So this point clearly correct. Occur in damp places, obviously, yeah, very true. That, I mean, if it's in terrestrial region also, it has to be a damp place. Mostly aquatic, partly true, I mean, yes. And next one is all of the above. Since I can say that these two are perfectly right, and mostly aquatic is also partly right. So the answer will be number 4, all of the above. Next is juvenile state of moss is A. Protonema, B. Prothallus, C. Capsule, 4 all of the above. Juvenile state is also called the young stage, right? The most like the first few stages of the in the life cycle of a moss. So that's the gametophytic phase in moss. Starts with protonema from the spores. When the spores disperse, they fall on the ground, and first thing they generate is a protonema. But what is prothallus? Prothallus is actually Ferns gametophytic generation. Capsule is actually a part of the sporophytic structure in moss, and obviously the answer can't be all of the above. The answer is 1, protonema. Okay, next question. Number of peristome teeth in Funaria capsule is it 16 in one hole, 16 in two holes, 32 in two holes, 32 in one hole? Well, the Funaria capsule has 2 holes, okay? So it has to be either B or C because it's written 2 holes over there. 1 and 4 is cancelling out. Now, it's a fact-based question, and we have to remember this, that Funaria has 32 peristome teeth in the capsule. So our answer is number 3. Let's see a picture related to it. So here we have a picture of the Funaria capsule, and we can see these are the teeth, and they are present in 2 holes. One, the inner hole and the outer hole is present, and they are actually 32 in number. Okay. Next question. In bryophytes, the posterior part of archegonium grows up to protect the embryo. It is what? 1. Paraphysis, B. Apophysis, 3. Calyptra, 4. Hypophysis. Now, first of all, we have to take care of the word. Mark the words in our head, that is, this is bryophyte, and The structure which is protecting the embryo is called what? It won't be obviously paraphysis, because paraphysis is a structure which belongs to generally in fungi. So this is a wrong answer. Apophysis. What is apophysis? It is the capsule which is present in the bryophytes, like this. We will show the diagram. Picture of a capsule, and here we can see the apophysis is present at the basal portion of a capsule, and it is actually the sterile portion, okay, which is of the capsule in the present in Fimneria, and stomatas are present actually here. You can see that means we are referring to Fimneria over here. And the next option is it Calyptra? Well, Calyptra is true, because it is the portion which grows up from the archegonium, and its correct definition that it protects the embryo. It's a protecting structure. So the answer is actually Calyptra only. But what is hypophysis? Hypophysis is a human structure, human part of human body, which is present in the pituitary gland, hypophysis, and apophysis, just like I said, the basal portion. So that won't be the answer. Number 3 is the correct answer. Next question: which one is a true moss? Is it bog moss? Is it reindeer moss? Is it club moss? Is it Irish moss? Let us know what all these mosses mean. First, what is bog moss? It is another name of sphagnum. Also, there is another name of sphagnum. The peat moss. Next is reindeer moss. Well, reindeer moss is actually not a bryophyte, but instead it's a lichen, and it is cladonia. Next is club moss. Club moss is actually a pteridophyte lower group. Pteridophyte. It is the lycopodium. And the last one, Irish moss, is the one we know. Well, this is as an algae. Algae chondrus crispus, which is called the Irish moss, an algae. So clearly we can see the names with moss written on it, but it's actually a lichen, pteridophyte, or an algae won't be the correct answer, and the true moss will be sphagnum, which is a bryophyte. So answer is number 1. Next question, let's go to 2015. First question of 2015 is: juvenile state of moss is A. Protonema, B. Prothallis, C. Chrysalis, and 4. Pupae. Well, it's a repeated question from 2014. We know that the answer is Protonema, and well, the options have changed. It's a Chrysalis and Pupae written over here. Let's see what is Chrysalis. Chrysalis and pupa are a part of butterfly structure, which is nowhere related to bryophytes. So the answers are wrong, and 1 will be the correct answer. Next question: a sterile jacket around gametangia is actually a feature of algae, bryophytes, lichens, and fungi. Well, algae, lichens, and fungi don't they don't have a this is a evolved structure which is present in the bryophytes and not present in any the lower groups like the algae and the fungi. Okay, so bryophytes are the ones who were the first to have this archegonia structure, and they have a sterile jacket surrounding it. That is both archegonia and antheridium has it. So the answer is number 2. Next is: which one is true moss? Again, the question is repeated, and just now we did it, so we obviously know the answer is bog moss, which is sphagnum. Next question: the protective device over the developing sporophyte is shoot calyptra in. Which is the protective device? Shoot calyptra. This is a fact-based question, and shoot calyptra is actually found in Frulania. This we have to know, and Anticeros sphagnum and Peria doesn't have that. So answer is number 1. Okay, so here is another question which can't be read clearly on screen, but I will say it. Question is, which one of the following is a gymnostomous moss? Is it Funaria? Is it Funaria? Is it Pogonatum? Is it Spagnum or Polytrichum? Well, what is gymnostomous moss? It means that there is absence of peristome. Means gymnostomous. Peristome teeth we are referring to over here, which the bryophytes have on the capsule, which is actually Polytrichum. The answer is Polytrichum. They do not have the peristome teeth-like structures, so they are called the gymnostomous moss. Next question. Okay, functions of elaters and pseudoelaters. This will be pseudoelaters. Is what? Conduction of sap, protection of the spore, absorption of the nutrients, or spore dispersal. Well, the most important function of pseudoelaters and elaters is spore dispersal, and yeah, they function in such a manner that when the bryophyte is mature, the spores are mature enough, they will get dispersed with the help of the elaters and the pseudoelaters. Next question. Let's start 2016 paper. Which among the following is called the peat moss? Okay, we discussed this. Is it Pellia, Sphagnum, Funaria, Porella? The sphagnum, which is also called the bog moss, has another name called the peat moss, which is more famous for sphagnum, not Pellia, Funaria, or Porella. The answer is number 2. These names which are often asked in the entrance exams of the bryophytes is very important. Next, elaters are present in the sporogonium of, is it Selaginella, Rixia, Markensia, Sphagnum? Rixia is the most primitive and it will not have the elaters. And Selaginella is a fern we are talking about here. It's also not the answer. Markensia or Sphagnum. So Markensia does have elaters, which is the last stage of the sporophytic stage, that is after spore mother cells and the elaters of the last stage. So Markensia have elaters, but Sphagnum, remember that though Sphagnum belongs to higher class than the Markensials, but still Sphagnum is marked by absence of elaters in sphagnum. This has to be memorized. And okay, so the answer is Markensia over here. The letters are present in the sporogonium of Markensia. Next question. Sporogonium of Rixia is differentiated into. The Rixia is the most primitive kind of moss, and the seta and capsule, that is the sporophytic structure of Rixia, doesn't have the foot and seta. They only have a capsule. Okay, so seta and capsule is wrong. Foot, seta, capsule is wrong. A simple capsule will be the right answer. They have only the capsule. Foot and seta is also wrong. So answer number 3 is the correct option. Next is, in which of the bryophyte a high degree of sporogenous tissue sterilization is found? Now, sporogenous tissue sterilization is actually a advanced characteristic. Okay, and Funaria, Rixia, Anthoceros, and Markensia, among them, most advanced is Funaria. So Funaria shows the maximum number of sporogenous tissue sterilization, and they have limited, actually the only precise number of fertile spores we talk about, spores, right? So Rixia, Anthoceros, and Markensia will be the wrong ones up from here, and 1 will be the correct answer. Which basically we have to know from here that this is an advanced character we are talking about. Next question. S.R. Kashyap is famous in the field of, is it phycology, which means algae, bryology, bryophytes, mycology, fungi, pterology, which is ferns we're talking about. But S.R. Kashyap is a famous bryologist, and famous in the field of biology. So answer is number 2. Next question, in bryophytes, reduction division takes place at the time of. Is it sex organ formation? Is it spore formation? Gamete formation? Capsule formation? Here we will take the reference. Here we see a picture of the sexual life cycle of a bryophyte, and we can notice the vegetative phase and the bryophyte phase. Vegetative phase and the sexual phase. Sexual phase is divided into gametophytic and sporophytic phase. To start, notice that the sporophytic phase ends with the spore mother cells, and then the reduction division takes place, and the first stage after reductional division is the spore stage. And the female archigametes, which we can see over here, the eggs and anthoceroids are derived from archegonium and antheridium, which were already in their haploid stage, and they did not undergo the reduction and division to form the gametes. So clearly the answer is spore formation, when the reduction division takes place. So answer number is 2. Next question. Okay, let's move on to year 2017. So the first question, the calyptras of the moss sporophyte is. First of all, what are calyptras? Calyptras are the protective structure which are formed from the archegonium to protect the embryo, and they are part of the sporophytic structure which is diploid in nature. Though calyptras will also be diploid in nature. The answer will be number 3. Next question. In which bryophyte the sporophyte is partially independent with unlimited growth? Is it Anthoceros, Sphagnum, Porella, Markensia? The answer will be Anthoceros, which has the partially independent and unlimited growth feature. Also a very important question from the bryophytes we should know. The answer is number 1. This is the last question from 2017. Let's move on to 2018. Okay, so first question from 2018. Which one of the following is called the reindeer moss? Okay, is it Usnea, Cladonia, Parmelia, Lobelia? Though it's not a bryophyte question, but since moss is written, I chose this question here. Answer will be Cladonia, which is actually a lichen we are referring here. Reindeer's moss is a very frequent question in the entrance exams, and the answer is Cladonia. Again, the question is here, the S.R. Kashyap is a scientist famous for. The answer is biology. We have to also keep memorize the scientists, famous scientists in each field. Next, which one of the following species of rickshaw is aquatic? First of all, there are 4 rickshaws given over here, and this is actually a very important question, and quite easy also, because rickshaw all are terrestrial. All of them are terrestrial. Only rickshaw fluitans is the one which is aquatic, and so therefore these exceptions are good to memorize, and yeah, the answer is number 2. Next question, the air cavities which are in the capsule of the moss are partitioned with delicate strands of cells which are called as what? Trabeculae, compartment, partition and septa. Well, compartment, partition, septas are not the term we use in bryophytes, and trabeculae is a very important term, and the whole definition is given in the question only. That term is also known as the trabeculae, and the answer is 1. Next question. The gametophyte of moss is 1 capsule. No, because it is sporophyte. It's present in the sporophyte structure. And protonema, seta, zygote. Obviously not the zygote. It's after fertilization, so it won't be the gametophytic stage. Seta and capsule are part of the sporophyte. Left with VR is protonema. Yes, protonema is the first stage of gametophytic generation of moss. So answer is number 2. So we are over with the questions over here. So thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful. Thank you.